Welcome to the Ashenborn archive. This record is preserved. Begin. Audio Codex, Entry 19, Vaden Thrice-Born and the Flask of the Night Ender.
Not every relic in AshenReach was made to be used. Some were made to survive the ruin of those who tried. Far below the old roads, beneath dead roots and drowned stone, rests the Flask of the Night Ender. Every death priest who recorded its name wrote the same warning beside it. Do not drink. Do not breathe. Do not open. The flask is shaped from the hollowed skull of a beast no kingdom remembers. Its horns have been filed smooth by desperate hands. Its eye sockets are sealed with black wax. Around its jaw are tarnished silver bands, etched not with blessings, but restraints. Inside lies the last ash, a gray-black powder, soft as funeral dust, cold even beside flame, older than poison, burial, and mercy, the residue of an ending so complete that even the gods refused to name it. Necromancers do not fear the flask because they doubt its power. They fear it because they believe they might survive it. That was the sickness of Vaden Thrice-Born. Before his 20th winter, he could pull voices from skulls, bind shades into candle flames, and raise the dead as servants who remembered their names. Vaden refused them all. He wanted the one thing older necromancers warned him against, not because he misunderstood the danger, because he believed danger proved the prize was worthy of him. For 3 years, he hunted the route to the grotto. He bought burned maps, exhumed dead monks, and forced directions from their jawbones. Beneath a moonless sky, he descended through a split in the earth. The entrance waited below, a cavern mouth shaped like a skull. Vaden entered, smiling. The grotto was vast. Black water covered the floor in shallow sheets. Along the walls stood hundreds of human skulls, each holding a white candle. At the center rose an altar of wet stone. Upon it rested the flask. Vaden crossed the water. Then the candles went out. Something unfolded from the dark behind the altar. It had the height of a man and the shape of a hunger. Its body was torn vapor, soot, and grave light. A skull hung inside its hood. Its fingers ended in blackened hooks. The Night Ender, guardian of the flask. It lifted one hand, and every skull along the walls turned toward Vaden. Then the dead spoke. Turn back. Vaden answered with fire. Necromantic flame erupted across the grotto. The water boiled. The skull candles burst. The Night Ender moved like smoke through broken glass. Vaden summoned chains from the bones beneath the cavern floor. The Guardian severed them. Vaden called up the drowned dead from the black water. The Guardian passed through them and left them empty. So Vaden opened his palms and drew a blood circle across the stone. Every shadow in the cavern was dragged toward him and hammered into a spear. He drove it through the Night Ender's chest. For one breath, the grotto became silent. Then the creature collapsed inward, unraveling into ash and black vapor. Its skull struck the stone and rolled to Vaden's feet. He had won. That was the most dangerous moment of his life. Not the battle, not the wounds, not the darkness. Victory. Vaden stepped over the fallen skull and took the flask from the altar. It was warm. He laughed softly, as if the world had finally admitted what he already knew, that he was exceptional, that warnings were for weaker men, that forbidden power was only forbidden because cowards had reached it first. He broke the wax from the eye sockets. He opened the flask. The last ash rose without wind. It did not spill. It climbed. A thin black cloud poured from the hollow skull. It wrapped around Vaden's wrist, then his throat. He tried to speak a command. The ash entered his mouth, his eyes, his lungs. He saw every corpse he had disturbed turn its face toward him. He saw every future he had imagined. Then he watched each future die. His skin split and dried. His shadow peeled from the floor and wrapped around his shoulders like a burial cloak. Vaden reached for the flask, not to wield it, to protect it. And then he understood. The Night Ender had not been the first guardian, only the last fool who opened the flask. The altar was surrounded by skulls because every guardian left one behind. Every prodigy, every master, every arrogant child of death who believed the curse would kneel. The last ash does not grant dominion over death. It hollows ambition and wears what remains. When the transformation was complete, Vaden Thrice-Born was gone. In his place stood a ragged shape of smoke, bone, and hunger. Pale embers burned where his eyes had been. The newfound Night Ender lifted the fallen skull and placed it among the others. Then he returned to the altar. The flask rested there once more, sealed and waiting. Deep below, the Night Ender waits. It does not seek. It does not tempt. It doesn't need to. The flask is patient, and youth has always mistaken patience for weakness.
The world of AshenReach also exists as a physical trading card game through collectible Ashenborn Archive relic cards and booster packs. The archivist has authorized a restricted offering for listeners of the Codex. For a limited time, listeners may receive an additional sealed booster pack through the sigil phrase, Codex. To claim the offering, add 2 single booster packs to your cart at AshenbornArchive.com. Then enter the phrase, Codex, at checkout. Ordering instructions and all archive links may be found within the show notes. The excavation continues. The archive's presence endures across the outer channels. Seek the social archives listed in the show notes for visual lore fragments, trading card offerings, and continued dispatches from AshenReach. Follow if you would continue to travel the realm of the Ashenborn Knight, or remain on the outskirts of AshenReach and be forgotten by the archive.